welcome back.
Morning.
It's 10 o'clock, and that means it's time for another episode of Exiles TV. We're so glad to have you with us. He's Bill, I'm Kevin.
Where's your necktie?
Where's your necktie?
I fear my necktie is on the floor of my garage.
I had
it in my hand when I left.
I actually had a tie. We did the podcast earlier this morning at 8 o'clock, and I had a tie, and I walked out of the house without the necktie. And so yours may be on the floor of your garage. Mine is hanging over a chair in my dining room.
Yeah, well, we don't wear ties for the Facebook live cast because we're very sloppy eaters and drinkers, and it gets all over.
That's right. I don't want coffee all over my tie.
I don't want to do that.
So it's time for me to take off my glasses dramatically. The latest look at Hurricane Delta.
Well, now.
Delta's still over the Yucatan Peninsula. It hasn't gone back out to open sea yet.
Mm-hmm. As of 10 a.m., the track is shifting slightly to the west. It is now moving northwest across the western Caribbean Sea at 17 miles an hour. It made landfall about an hour and a half ago near Puerto Morales and is crossing over.
I like how he says that with the accent. Say that again?
Puerto Morales.
Puerto Morales.
Which
with beans.
With beans and not too spicy. But anyway, they're saying now once it's completely in the southern Gulf, in other words, it'll cross off the Yucatan Peninsula in the next hour and a half to 2 hours because it's still moving fairly quickly. It will strengthen in the warm water. It will accelerate north and possibly northeast through the cooler central and northern Gulf tomorrow. By this time, some wind shear and dry air could work on the storm, and weakening is expected. However, it's still going to be what they call a moderate to high impact event. Let me do a little layman's translation on this.
How's that?
Yeah. Well, nobody can be real sure at this time, which I think is honest. It did shift fairly dramatically west right after landfall, which is kind of odd because normally you have a little bounce effect.
Yeah.
And it hit Cancun, that area, Cozumel, at only 105. Now, if you remember, yesterday at this time, they were worried it was going to hit Cancun and Cozumel. 130, 140, yeah. And that makes a great big difference. So we don't have any word yet on damage there.
Probably going to be, as Bill mentioned, about another 24 hours before we have a clearer picture of the storm's path once it makes landfall. Where is that landfall going to be? If it goes west, I really worry about the folks out in southwest Louisiana, the Lake Charles region, who are not even anything like recovered from Laura.
Yeah, and that would be very, very, very bad. But
there's also that if it turns northeast, the probability that it will make a direct pass over the capital region.
Sir, the latest center line of the cone is basically Lafayette, but it's the cone of uncertainty.
Yeah, I love how they name it to cover their ass.
Well, again,
they just call it the cone of cover our ass.
They're being accurate. Remember when
the CYA cone.
Jay Grimes, who both you and I admire greatly for his intellect, he said that's why we call it a forecast. We are trying to have a foregone look, at what may happen. But on the serious side,
best guess though is this thing when it makes landfall, could be a Category 2 or possibly a Category 3 hurricane when it makes landfall.
Now, what's interesting is they're saying right now, and this could change, that this is going to be a hurricane all the way to the Alexandria area. So, good God, let's just kind of...
Well, I'm also looking at a forecast map that says tropical storm force winds as far north as Tennessee and Kentucky. So this could be. It's the only thing I think is a good thing about this storm is its size. It seems to be a fairly compact hurricane. It's not a Gulf filler like we saw with Laura. So the wind field, even though it's strong winds, the wind field is small. And we can only hope that doesn't change over the next few days as it crosses the Gulf.
I need to talk to a better Catholic than I am I need to know who the patron saint of weather is. And I know there is one, because I need to light a few candles.
Question. I heard a fellow on the radio say this will be the 7th named storm landfall on or near Louisiana this year.
Yeah.
Has it been that many, guys? 7?
Well, and as it seems likely that this will impact the mainland United States in a couple days somewhere, it also breaks a record set in 1916 as 10 storms as hurricanes making landfall in the United States on the mainland.
It's amazing. By the way, you see this? You see who that is, right? Arriving at New Orleans International Airport yesterday afternoon.
Cantori?
Jim Cantori arriving at New Orleans International Airport. Never a good thing.
You know what? Before we go to the break here, let me take a moment on this.
He's going to take a moment.
The big network reporters, with the exception of, believe it or not, CBS's Weather Chaser, who is from Louisiana, by the way. David Begnaud usually does those. But the Weather Channel people, they want to come to freaking New Orleans for everything. Their own track says minimal impact in New Orleans. But the big dogs, they want to be up in the Roosevelt Hotel. They need to be in Lafayette right now.
Food's as good in Lafayette as it is in New Orleans.
His big bald head and his big fat butt aren't landing in Lafayette. No, he wants to play around in New Orleans. They do this every time.
Strip joints. I guess the strip joints aren't open though, are they?
Well, I don't know.
Is the French Quarter still shut down? I haven't really said.
They can take off their mask very seductively.
Mayor Cantrell in New Orleans still practicing her no fun allowed policy?
Oh, I don't know, but we need to take a break.
All right.
And when we come back, LSU is moving to Mizzou. Stick around. Exiles TV continues in a moment. Freaking Cantori.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Back, Exiles TV on this Wednesday morning. Are you blessing me?
Yes, I am, because somebody needs to. All right.
Bless me, bless you.
We're all heathens. Saint Medaris.
Medaris
is the patron saint of weather, also vineyards, brewers, captives and prisoners, the mentally ill, peasants, and sterility.
Well, I'm down with that brewers thing. You know, I used to be a brewer. I used to brew my own mead once upon a time.
I'm not so up with sterility. Does he mean like cleanliness, or does he mean like
Let's
fire
go-
and blanks?
Let's go cleanliness instead of the other. So a little more wholesome.
Well, they didn't know about sterility when he lived. So, must be firing blanks.
Patron saint of firing blanks. Let's. Somehow that just doesn't sound.
This
right
is the one.
to me.
This is
Bill.
the one that all the fertility, the in vitro guys pray to every night for more patients.
You know, one thing, and I'm going to bring this up, and this is kind of setting up our topic for this hour. I have been, in my Facebook feed, I have been paying attention to posts by my friends in the music industry that try to make a living entertaining people with live music. We've had guests on the show here in the last few weeks, Kristen Corville and Eric DeSanto. Cumberland County is the name of their act. They are begging for private gigs just so they can get out and play again. I've got a lot of friends on my Facebook friends list that are musicians, but I've also got a lot of friends who represent not-for-profits. And if you think this has been bad for restaurants and this has been bad for live musicians, not-for-profit organizations,
Oh man, they're hitting it.
this is not the time to be asking people for charitable donations.
Well, and they're trying to do their big fundraising events virtually with limited success. We're going to talk to an expert. Our buddy Danny Fields will be joining us in just a few minutes. All right, here's the big news. So the second home game of the LSU season is not going to be a home game. It will be played in Columbia, Missouri on Saturday night due to the intercessions of Hurricane Delta. It will kick off at 11
You mean
a.m.
those wusses can't play a football game in the wake of a hurricane?
Well, I remember back in the day when I was playing high school football, you didn't even come off the field for lightning. They didn't
telling
care
you.
about us that much.
There was a time when LSU would be out there playing in the hurricane. 70-mile-an-hour wind, who cares? Let's rock and
It
roll.
messes with the passing game a lot.
Yeah, it does kind of force you into a ground
You
game.
know, when the pass was an afterthought in football, when everything was on the ground, it wasn't quite so bad. But yeah, so they don't even know which ESPN station it will be on at this point. That will be announced
Wow.
because the SEC and CBS share this huge contract for their football games. SEC, ESPN, and CBS.
There is an obligation to broadcast the game.
11 o'clock kickoff, and we don't know which ESPN station it will be on. So again, the lucky 25% that actually had tickets and we're going to go into Tiger Stadium is like, oh. This is the first time, by the way, that LSU has played at Faro Field in Columbia, Missouri.
Okay.
How about that?
Looks like a good plan B, though. I mean, better than just calling a game off. I mean, I've often wondered, you know, what do you do if the weather just forces you to call the game off? Does that just go down as a no on the record, or?
They have actually rescheduled on open dates when they can or at the end of the season. But again, how much more negative impact on the economy of Baton Rouge can we possibly stand? LSU home games, even at 25% capacity, have a huge economic impact in this city.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I know you can't do anything about the weather. I get that.
Right.
But they started talking about moving this 3 days ago.
Well, it's one thing to mess with that big LSU economic machine because of the weather. What I have a bigger problem with is that we've got it curtailed because we're all scared we'll get sick. And I'm sorry, I'm just not that maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe I'll feel different if I get COVID, but I've already had 7 or 8 of my close friends get to COVID, and they came through it just fine. I'm not that afraid right now of getting sick.
Don't tempt fate, my friend. Don't tempt fate.
I'm just not that afraid of getting sick. You know, the America I grew up in wasn't afraid of getting sick. All of a sudden, now we're a bunch of fearful little, cowards hiding out in our house and stuff.
Look what it gave us. Heart disease, diabetes, obesity, smoking-related cancers, things like that.
That's called quality of life, my friend.
There you go.
Nobody lives forever, and you might as well enjoy it while you're taking the ride.
But yeah, I understand it, but I am not happy that they are moving this game to Missouri. One more spike in the economic coffin of Baton Rouge.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
John Bell, let my people go.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with this one. Let's not mix our metaphors on this one.
I know, this is LSU's decision.
It was not his decision. Actually, it was the SEC's decision.
Okay.
This came down from BHAM.
Good. Time for another commercial break. When we come back, the plight of nonprofits during the time of COVID-19. That's coming up on Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Right now, during the Team Honda Upgrade event, get a new 20 Accord Sport for just $309 a month with no money down, no first payment, and no security deposit. It's time to upgrade to your new Honda at Louisiana's #1 new car dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Again, a reminder, we are now 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. Our good friend Clarence Buggs is 5 days a week, and he is on right after us at 11 till noon. A little more consistency for you, and of course there's a replay every night at 10 p.m. on this very same channel.
10 p.m. for us, and replay at 11 p.m. for Clarence.
He gets the 11?
Yeah.
See, I thought they were going to move him later. Yeah.
Oh.
That big sultry voice in the middle of the night. Think about it. No, don't. Anyway.
Got me thinking about Tim Meadows and the Ladies' Man.
Exactly. That's exactly what came to mind. Nonprofit organizations throughout our viewing area, Lafayette and Acadiana, the Baton Rouge area, the river parishes, the North Shore, New Orleans, the whole metro, they are really taking it on the chin. Their donor base is unsure of what to do. Their big events have been canceled. They are still trying to provide services as best they can, but the funding isn't there. Danny Fields, who is in the center here, his company is Daniel J. Fields Consulting, LLC, and he has been in nonprofits for well over 20 years. And now he has left. He had been a very long time with Our Lady of the Lake Foundation, one of the biggest nonprofits in the entire state. And he is now working to help nonprofits try to recover from what's been happening to the economy and to COVID. Danny, glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Bill and Kevin. Good to see y'all.
So, what is the situation for most nonprofits now?
Well, it's really a time of uncertainty and focus on re-energizing their donor bases. It's also it's an important time for nonprofits to continue to establish and communicate their mission and vision and values with the members of the community that have supported them. The pandemic is not the time to stop communicating that message very clearly and very transparently. And so while financial times may be uncertain, the impact that these nonprofits are making is still as critical as ever.
Forgive me for sounding flip, but people with deep pockets still got deep pockets, even with the pandemic going on. So are people using this as an excuse not to give?
You know, every individual donor has their own motivations for why they commit to a cause. With philanthropy, it's really about connecting the right cause to the vision and values that individual donor or the corporation may have. And there's a responsibility of the nonprofits to really connect and steward those donors really well throughout that process. And so what you may be seeing from significant donors is that they're paying attention to how the nonprofits are responding to this crisis that we're in right now, and paying attention to how they're utilizing those funds even more acutely than they perhaps have been before.
Well, and I wonder about the donor base shrinking either because of economic circumstance or because of fear of uncertainty. I know 7 people, one of them lives with me, who got laid off from a 6-figure job, who were regular contributors to nonprofits, and a lot of them are saying, well, I can do this donation, but I cannot do these 3 or 4 other ones because of my personal economic situation. And I've seen nonprofits that have been able to somewhat adjust to that, and others that are running around like their hair is on fire. They don't know what to do.
Well, a number of things that nonprofit organizations can do, because there certainly are folks in those situations where they've lost an income. They may not be able to give at the capacity that they were before. But there's still important ways that nonprofits can leverage those donors as volunteers, as advocates, as ambassadors. You know, it's really important at this time to continue to stay engaged and be empathetic to the donors that you're serving right now, because when we do emerge from this crisis, and we will, this is something that you know, we've been an economy that has been rooted on service to the community. Nonprofits are certainly the biggest ambassadors of that. We're going to bounce back, and we have to be on the forefront of making sure that we still have a constituency to support our causes that we care about so much.
So much of this giving is event-based. I mean, some of these groups, and they're very, I mean, Susan G. Komen, others, they're very, very worthy, good people to donate to, but they get a lot of their money via events that they can't have because of COVID-19. Have you seen them try to shift to just having more direct communications with the people that that are habitual traditional givers?
You know, I think certainly as events become more virtual and there's a lot of competition in that space right now, I believe that the smart way to go about fundraising at this point is to have that direct communication, that very transparent communication about the impact of giving directly, and then making sure that we're continuing to ask donors to support. I think if we do not ask the community to support as a nonprofit, we then are at risk of being forgotten about, and the impact or the needs that those nonprofits serve, they're still there, and despite the fluctuation of financial circumstances that people have, it's just so important for them to give.
I don't know if this has changed in recent years, but I used to represent a couple nonprofits from a public relations standpoint, and we always looked at the pyramid. And your board members and your big, deep pockets people, they were the top. They were the point. And then you had your business sponsors, and they were the next level. And then you had your event fundraising, which was not only the tickets, but also the sell-alongs at the events. And then you had your general public that were giving $5, $10, $100. It seems to me that right now, that's kind of, that point is at the bottom rather than being the base. Is this going to be a problem for nonprofits as we move into 2021?
I think nonprofits have to evolve. Their levels of fundraising, and certainly events are the most engaging way to connect with a large group of donors. We in the business have called those friend raisers. Events are also the most expensive way to raise a dollar. When you look at the cost to raise a dollar, that's a very important thing to consider when you're looking at your charities that you support.
Well, I like them because it makes people feel like they don't feel like I went someplace and donated to a charity. They went out, they had a great night, and they, at a social
had an
event,
experience,
and had an experience. And by the way, that we did something good. So I hope that they don't go the way of the dodo on the backside of COVID-19.
I don't think they will, and certainly so much of the fundraising element is that storytelling and connecting donors to that impact. And events are a tremendous way to really deliver on that. With the donors.
Quick follow-up, in your consultation with these folks, do you talk to them about maybe coming up with something new, something different when the all clear is given and we can start socializing again? Because some of the events get a little long in the tooth and you're kind of thinking it's time for a new concept.
Yeah, I think it certainly is a good time to engage in planning and innovation and looking at different ways to engage and inspire donors. Certainly, we've all been to the chicken dinner, the open bar, that sort of event, live auction. I think you're seeing a lot of creativity in the event space for a lot of nonprofits, but it needs to continue to evolve into finding new ways to actually connect the donor to the real impact of the organization.
I will tell you, in our market, and I don't know if it's similar in Lafayette or New Orleans, but in our market, I have found that a couple of the large nonprofits have been very effective communicating. The Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, they have told the public, they've said, here's the problem, here's how we're addressing it, here's how you can help, and I think they have really kept their engagement very high. Catholic Charities has done much the same thing. There are other large nonprofits, and I don't want to name them by name because I don't want to embarrass them, but they have basically just kind of sat on their hands, and their donors are saying, what are you doing? What's going on? If you're not doing anything, I might send this check to somebody else. Now, as someone who knows the business, how do you give them that push to be more communicative?
It really does come down to leadership understanding that the donors want to know more than ever what the story of what that nonprofit is doing during this time. And so my biggest advice to the leaders of those organizations is figure out a way to get engaged, to be out in front, to tell that story, and get some of the folks that have actually been benefiting from the gifts to help you tell that story.
Yeah, it's good to put a face on it.
Absolutely.
But before we go to a break, where I talk a little bit more about your skill set with nonprofits, nationwide, they are talking about numbers of who might not be here this time next year. You know, they're talking restaurants, they are talking airline seats, they are talking service industry jobs. Do the people in your business have a feeling, and again, nationwide, as to how many nonprofits this will be their swan song? What percentage?
I don't have an answer for the percentage. I know that there's certainly a lot of fear in the nonprofit sector as far as what this pandemic is going to mean for their organizations, for their team members, for the people that they're serving. My encouragement to them is let's stay optimistic and try. In our community, the nonprofits have often been those that have inspired the goodwill in the communities, and we have to step up and be the leaders that our communities expect of us.
We are going to take a quick break, and we got more with Danny Fields coming up in just moments. The plight of nonprofits in the age of COVID-19. Are you a giver? We'll talk about it on the other side. Exiles returns in a moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents, and Tax tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, keeping an eye on the hurricane, but we're talking about the plight of nonprofit organizations. We've had some of them on this show. COVID has made it very, very difficult for them and difficult on their staff, their volunteers, on their donors. In the center chair, Danny Fields, a longtime nonprofit executive who is now a consultant to nonprofits. It is Daniel J. Fields, LLC, right?
Daniel J. Fields Consulting, LLC, yep.
You need a big business card. That's too many things.
Very long.
What made you decide to specialize in consulting not-for-profits?
Well, in addition to supporting nonprofits with philanthropy advising, I'm also helping support corporate giving and working with companies and individuals on the corporate social responsibility practices that they can implement to create the best local and global impact in the markets that they serve, but also use that as an opportunity to engage their workforces, their customers, so that it's really mutually beneficial for corporate partners. But as far as advising nonprofits, it's because there's so much of a need, and every nonprofit is going to be at their own stage in their evolution of sophistication with fundraising, and so my hope is that with this consulting practice that I'll be able to help a lot of organizations evolve a donor through the pipeline so that we create a lot of impact.
A great many nonprofits in the Baton Rouge area and also in Lafayette and in New Orleans have not evolved beyond the Blanche Dubois stage. I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. Mm-hmm. You know, that has always been their philosophy. Many of them were being directed by a middle-aged woman whose husband was a big donor, and outside that little box, they were dead. Well, that box has completely changed now. Are you finding that you would, very kindly of course, talk to a lot of these if they called you and asked and tell them, you need to reinvent yourself and you need to do it in this way?
Well, when you're relying on the kindness of strangers, I think you need to quickly evolve to becoming friends with those strangers. And
Good
so
point.
It's not always about reinventing yourself. A lot of the time it's about staying true to the core mission that you are serving in that community and committing to engage with the donors that you are working with. Because more often than not, those existing donors are going to be the ones that are going to contribute at higher levels to your organization.
And do they bring you other good donors?
Absolutely. I think the important thing is engage those donors because they will serve as really strong ambassadors of your organization if you steward them well through the process.
Bill and I have been involved with a lot of not-for-profit groups and their events. It's been our experience that sometimes if the event did not go off as well as planned, that the group themselves are their own worst enemy. Organizational problems, things like that, are just things nobody thought of when they were trying to put this event on. Is that part of the consultation that you do with these people? If they say, hey, we want to do this big event at L'Auberge, 350 people, all with fat checkbooks, and do you help them with, let's make sure we get this right and we get that right? Because if anything goes wrong, it can fall like a house of cards and ruin the whole evening.
Well, I think every nonprofit, and I've certainly had enough experience to know that I've made enough mistakes over the years. Every nonprofit is going to occasionally make a mistake with an event. It won't go exactly how you planned for it. The important thing is to learn from those mistakes, evolve, don't make those mistakes consistently, don't make expensive mistakes, and really utilize that as a way to to grow and evolve.
I mean, we've seen, I don't drive on this, but we've seen some really rookie stuff. Like, we're having a live auction. Okay, well, where's your PA system? What? PA system?
Yeah.
You got a room with 350 people. What am I supposed to just shout at them? You know, and it's like I said, rookie mistakes, things that should be patently obvious to anybody.
Or we're having a live auction. This has happened to me. In the middle of a live auction, and this is a room of about 600 people, it is very loud. So to get their attention at the beginning was difficult, but we're rolling. And somebody from the nonprofit brings up a board member who is drunk as all get out and wants me to hand him the mic so he can dare somebody to bet. Lose the room completely. It goes to silence. The room thinks it's over. They all start talking amongst themselves, and we never get them back.
Yep, you can't get their attention back.
Well, that really is a demonstration of knowing who is the right person to share your message. One of the areas of focus that I'll be helping clients with is public affairs, and you have to make sure that your story is being told well by the right person.
Amen.
At the time.
When we were planning on doing a media training before all this started, and that was going to be number one, is who you give to the reporter, who you put in front of a microphone, or who you put in front of a camera is absolutely critical.
Amen.
Absolutely critical. And there are ways to do it. Let me ask you this financially. Have changes in the tax code, so well before COVID, have changes in the tax code made it harder on nonprofits? I think the corporate entities still get a decent tax break, but most individual donors don't. Has that made it a little more difficult?
You know, I think certainly in this environment, one of the key areas that individuals might take a look at that is more advantageous for them to contribute is through stocks. And it will be actually kind of interesting to see how this presidential election it shapes up, because there could be a beneficial tax incentive depending on which side of the ticket wins the election. But the giving through stocks can often sometimes be a little bit more advantageous than giving through a straight cash gift, because you're taking advantage of the capital gains tax savings as well as the direct value of the contribution itself. So it's almost like double tax benefits in that regard.
Now, what's the trick when you're consulting with a donor, or you're consulting for a not-for-profit, and you're approaching they are approaching donors? What's the trick to realizing who's going to get involved, who's going to cut a check and doesn't want to get involved, or who's going to want to go that stock option? I mean,
it really comes down to nonprofits putting the right development professionals in place that are both empathetic to the current environment of that individual donor, the current circumstances that they are going through, and being wise to know the best ways that donor can help your organization. If it is them writing a check, or if it's not a good time, asking them to help connect you with a different donor, or asking them to serve as a volunteer. There's a lot of good ways for them to do, but it really comes down to the development professional being very empathetic with that donor.
Quick follow-up, under the revisions to the tax code are in-kind donations. You know, like, well, I can't really write you a check, but I can provide you with all the blank that you need to make your event happen. Is that still advantageous for people to get involved?
Absolutely, and nonprofits need that continuously. I know whenever I was working at Our Lady Lake Foundation, we ended up having the community step up and contribute over 50,000 meals to frontline healthcare workers. And what that did was it created a great impact for the organization to better serve patients in that regard, because it kept them on the floor. What people have to remember is that in addition to the donations that help create impact, it's also expensive sometimes to keep that mission going, and so in-kind is a very valuable way of contributing.
Well, and big galas, and certainly Our Lady of the Lake used to have a big one. Cancer Services used to have a big one. There are a lot of these big charities, but you have a big night with music all night and food all night. If you don't have corporate entities that are underwriting pretty much all your costs, you're going to lose money.
That's right.
And that's a lot of work to structure that.
Yeah, it is, and my hope is that that companies recognize that as we are not having these physical events, and perhaps they're saving their philanthropic investments right now, what they would normally put towards sponsorships, that they're considering making those contributions directly to the nonprofits, that it creates even more impact. It costs less to raise that money.
Let me ask you this. This is a serious question. Do you find that people miss the events? Because speaking personally, I really miss going to the events. And I mean, I
You
love,
and Karen were sometimes 2-3 a week.
well, and I love buying things in the auction and all that. Or if people said, "Oh, I'll just write a check." Do you think that people still really miss the events?
I do. I think for a number of people, we are social beings, and so this is not only a way for us to connect to the causes that we care about, but it's also our way of connecting with other people that are important to us in our life. So I do think that events are going to make their way back into the picture, and they'll continue to be a very important part of the process.
I would personally love that. We're trying to get traction on a new television show and hitting some of those events and rubbing some elbows and donating a little cash.
Getting involved
would be a wonderful way to do it.
Absolutely.
And Bill and I used to be good for 2 or 3 of these over the course of a couple of months, and now there's nothing happening.
Nothing happening. We might have to have our own in the parking lot.
It makes me sad.
So should somebody, for those of you watching, if you are on the board of a nonprofit, or maybe you are employed by a nonprofit, or maybe you're a corporate entity that would like to direct your nonprofit generosity a little more specifically, how do you get in touch with you, Danny? This is the commercial part. Go ahead.
Well, you can visit my website, danieljfields.com. You can also connect on social media, on Facebook, look up Daniel J. Fields Consulting. On LinkedIn, just Danny Fields. Nobody calls me Daniel in real life, so everybody calls me Danny. That's the only person that called me Daniel was my mom, and that was when she was angry.
Yeah,
so.
It's like William was.
And she wasn't angry very often.
When somebody was PO'd, they'd call me
and
William.
You've been doing this for over 20 years, so that's like right out of high school.
As soon as I was born, it started this.
That was intended as a compliment.
Yeah, thank you.
Danny Fields, Daniel J. Fields Consulting, and like I said, all things nonprofit and corporate giving. Danny, good to have you. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, thanks for being our guest. It's fascinating.
A brief break, and then we'll be back with more on Exiles TV. Stick around.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email, at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
So, Bill, and welcome back to Exiles TV, by the way.
Yes.
Let's talk about not-for-profits, because, as I mentioned earlier, you and Karen, following your social media, you and Karen were good for sometimes 2, sometimes 3 of these in the space of a week.
Yeah.
Because they happened a lot.
Well, and there's a seasonality. It normally happens from July through mid-November, and then again February through, say, April.
But these things are not only an opportunity to do some good, but they're also excellent networking opportunities.
Yes.
To, get out and meet people in business and in the community that could be beneficial down the road. Which is your favorite types? I mentioned with Danny, you've got dancing with dancing for blank. I don't know, that one might be played out. I'm not too sure.
It's a hard event. The one here, the first one for Big Buddy, ABC through Channel 2 used to throw some sponsorship, and they'd actually send actual Dancing with the Stars people to serve as judges. I did that. I did that a while ago, actually. And it was fun as a participant. I've been to it as an audience member. I don't like the audience participation stuff. I figure I'm paying my money. I want to mingle and talk to people. I don't want music blasting so loud that I can't have that interaction.
Right.
I want my meal to be hot when it's put down in front of me. I want the wine to be something above Mad Dog 2020. And I will go buy things at your auction. And if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And I'll remember what a nice time I had, and I'll buy a ticket again next year.
I do kind of like the what I like to call the sip and stroll.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a little small food item. There's a lot of different chefs there, and you get yourself a drink, and you got a little bowl of something in your hand, and you get to stroll around and talk to people. And then there may be some kind of main event. A good one is the Bigwigs event.
Bigwigs, yeah.
Got a bit theatrical there the last couple of years, but still, it's a great event for a great cause.
Well, and again, Best Dressed, which is a huge fundraiser for American.
Yeah, see, I don't roll at that level.
Well, Karen and I had been there.
At my Best Dressed, they turn me away at the door and say, "You can't even attend."
Well, Karen and I had been there as ticket holders to watch the event, and then Karen was named to Best Dressed in 2019. And that, I mean, if you want to have an elegant evening, that is, because it's black tie, the tables are all close to the stage runway so you can see all the Best Dressed. The meal is magnificent, it's hot. They have bars set up that are courtesy bars that you never have to wait more than 4 or 5 minutes for a drink. You have your photo booth taken inside. So what happens is everything comes in order. And when you're in your seat, you don't get interrupted. See, that's the whole thing. You talked about socializing. I have the same problem with restaurants. If I'm at a table with other people, I want to talk to them.
Not have somebody over my shoulder.
I don't want somebody over my shoulder, and I don't want the music so loud that I have to yell at them. And so I think Best Dressed was a great event. I was sorry to hear Danny tell us that Our Lady of the Lake discontinued their gala.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Ray Charles and Neil Sedaka and Chicago and a whole bunch of great acts, the Beach Boys. And I love that because, again, It is a formal event. It's a sit-down dinner, and once you're in the door, you can socialize, relax, eat, and drink at your leisure. And then the dinner comes on during the first act, and I like that. The tournaments and the runs and all that, I'll go help, but I don't want to. I don't like audience participation. I don't like it in nightclubs, and I don't like it with fundraisers. My opinion is, I'm here to support your charity with my money. You can keep me coming back to support your charity by leaving me the hell alone.
But I guess the point is that, well, a lot of these events are curtailed because of COVID-19. It doesn't change the need.
No.
It doesn't change the need for breast cancer research funding. It doesn't change the need to feed, the needy and the less fortunate. Pick a charity. And if you've got it within your budget, I know a lot of people their budgets are strained because of COVID-19. But if you've got it in your budget and in your heart, just cut them a check. I mean, you don't have to go to an event. They can't have the event, but they still need our support. So pick one or perhaps two if it's within your budget, and just help them out as you have done in the past by attending these events.
And
just send them a check.
Never underestimate the power of just a few dollars. The largest percentage of the bell-shaped curve on donations is $10. Don't ever think that people at American Cancer Society or Our Lady of the Lake or the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank are sneering at a $10 check. They're not. They're saying, thank you very much. You are our core business. So if you feel intimidated, don't. Go ahead and write that small check.
Just if you've got it within your means and your heart, please give.
So we
Pick
are
one.
nearing the end of our time together. We'll be back tomorrow with an update.
Hopefully we'll have a much clearer picture of what this storm is going to do.
Yeah, hopefully it's a downgrade. There is that small possibility. So what did I say, St. Medicus? Something like that?
St. Medeiros.
St. Medeiros. Pray to St. Medeiros. In the meantime, St. Medeiros sounds like he was in a disco group.
Yeah.
Probably not. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well. Clarence Buggs is next. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, and until then, God bless.